This just in. The news reporter sounded shocked as he read the teleprompter. It appears the mayor's son is standing on top of City Hall. Sources say he has been behaving erratically throughout the day. All sound muffled as Kathy stood transfixed by the images on the screen. Richie hated heights, so why was he on the roof of City Hall? And what was this erratic behavior that was being reported?
What's he doing up there?
Adam's voice broke her from her shock.
I have no idea,
Kathy said, turning around and marching toward the door.
But I have to get to him now. Are you going to go as yourself? Kathy, what can you do from the ground?
Adam's voice was full of concern. Kathy stopped with her hand on the doorknob. He was right. As herself, she'd be stuck in the crowd with onlookers and paparazzi. After a moment of thought, she said,
We won't be on the ground.
Adam nodded his understanding, and the two donned their uniforms before rushing to the scene. A decent crowd had been drawn around the building. Reporters from every station were jostling about in an effort to get the best camera angle. The Blue Shadow and Kathy quickly and stealthily made their way to the roof, thankfully unnoticed by the crowd whose gaze was held by the young man on the ledge.
Richard?
Richie looked around at the sound of his name. He looked shocked to see them, but soon recovered his resolve. It was strange for someone to look so calm when only a moment ago they were standing on the edge of a building with what appeared to be intent to jump.
I wasn't expecting the whole set,
Richie said with a forced calm.
I knew you'd come.
He gestured to the Blue Shadow.
If I caused a big enough scene.
Blue's brow furrowed.
What is this?
This? Richie's arms spread out wide as he gestured all around himself. This is desperation, can't you tell?
We can help you,
Nightingale said earnestly, taking a step closer. No! His eyes were full of sadness and fear. I'm sorry, Nightingale, but you can't help me. Only he can. Richie stared at Blue. His hands were trembling. Adam moved closer, his concern for Richie's well-being growing with every step.
What do you need me to do?
Richie looked down at his feet and took a slow, deep breath and exhaled like he was trying to buy time or talk himself out of whatever he was about to do.
How can I help you?
Blue repeated after a few moments of silence.
You could tell me your secret identity.
That's not happening, Blue said, the surprise nearly causing a chuckle to escape his mouth.
I'm sorry.
Richie's eyes were now locked on Blue.
I can't take that answer.
Nightingale was stunned. She looked from Richie to her partner and back again. Her mind was clouded in disbelief. Richie had pulled a handgun from his coat pocket, and with a not-so-steady hand, he was pointing it right at Blue's heart.
Whoa, buddy,
Blue said as he slowly lifted his hands into the air.
Don't call me that!
Richie raised his voice in fear, but he was desperate to appear calm.
Just tell me who you are.
Why? Blue asked.
What's the point? Just tell me!
He tightened his grip on the gun.
I need you to tell me. I can't. You know I can't.
Richie cocked the gun.
I don't want to do this.
Then don't. Nightingale stepped forward, moving in between Blue and the gun.
Get out of the way. He doesn't care about you.
Richie's stare never moved from Blue's cowl.
Who doesn't care?
Blue said with a growing irritation at the gun that was squarely aimed at him.
That isn't your business.
Richie spat out the words like he hated their taste. Blue's eyes narrowed.
It is my business if I'm the one being threatened.
Bang! All three of them jumped as a bullet collided with the gargoyle.
I don't have time for this!
Richie yelled as he readied his weapon again.
Who are you?
Richard! Nightingale's voice was stern and clear.
How do you know my name?
His voice shook slightly, as if the familiar sound of her voice was making him more uncomfortable.
You're the mayor's son,
Nightingale stated. She held out her hand.
Give me the gun.
Richie shook his head.
I can't.
He looked back to Blue.
Do you hear me? I can't.
Rich, look at me.
You don't want to do this.
Nightingale locked her eyes with his, and this time he didn't look away.
You don't understand. If I don't have the Blue Shadow's real name by midnight, he'll kill her. Who?
Nightingale pleaded.
Who's making you do this? I can't tell you.
Blue lowered his hands, grateful for his partner's intervention.
Are you bugged?
He asked. Richie shook his head.
Then you can tell us,
Nightingale assured him.
We just want to help.
Richie's voice reached the verge of breaking.
You can't help me unless he tells me his name, please.
He pleaded.
I can't lose her. I won't let her die.
Kathy's heart broke. Here was her best friend since childhood, standing on a rooftop at his wits' end, because he couldn't stand to lose her, and he didn't know what else he could do but follow the directions of an unknown villain.
What's your friend's name, Richard?
Kathy did her best to stay in character, but seeing her friend in such a state was making the charade more difficult than ever.
Kathy,
Richie said softly.
Her name's Kathy. Please, he's gonna kill her if I can't give him what he wants. Then what does he want exactly?
Blue prompted. Richie looked back to him with a stricken face.
He wants your name, or he wants you dead.
Blue returned his hands to the air, not wanting to agitate Richie any more than he already was.
You can't do this, Richard. This isn't you,
Nightingale said, staring at him. He looked to the roof below their feet.
You don't know me. You don't know her. Maybe not,
Blue intervened.
But would she want you to kill me? Tell me what I want to know, or don't talk.
Richie steadied his gun as well as his gaze. Blue fell silent, wondering what he would do if someone he loved was being threatened like this. Nightingale did her best to stay between Blue and the gun.
Answer the question, Rich. If Kathy were here, what would she do? Whose life would she choose?
Tears began to rim his eyes.
She'd choose him.
He looked defeated, but kept the gun firmly in position. Nightingale shook her head.
She'd choose you. If you do this, you'll be throwing your life away. She wouldn't want that. I can't just let her die. You won't. I can promise you she's safe. Now please, just...
Richie cut her off.
How can you promise me that? Half an hour ago, you didn't even know she existed.
He looked back at the Blue Shadow, with shaking hands.
I'm sorry, but I need your name.
Blue looked to Nightingale. He could easily avoid the bullets and take down this attacker with minimal effort, but he didn't want to hurt him, and he knew that if Richie pulled the trigger, he would forever be racked with the guilt of the action. The next few seconds passed like days as Kathy realized what she had to do if her friend was going to come out of this unscathed. She gave Blue a look that told him not to intervene, and she slowly put her hand to her mask.
Richie,
she said, walking towards him.
Whoever orchestrated this is lying to you. Your friend is safe, I promise.
Both Blue and Richie watched in stunned amazement as Nightingale removed her mask. Richie immediately lowered his weapon, tears spilling from his eyes.
Kathy?
She reached out and took the gun from his limp hand and handed it to Blue, who unloaded and disassembled it for good measure.
I'm okay,
she said, wrapping Richie in a hug as his knees buckled.
Everything is going to be okay. Just tell me who put you up to this.
Richie returned her embrace, holding her tightly for a full minute before gaining the ability to answer.
Mayhem,
he said finally.
He wants to know the Blue Shadow's true identity, so he can defeat him from any angle. I'm so sorry,
he sobbed.
I didn't know what else to do. He said if I went to the police, he'd kill you. Do you know where he is?
Kathy asked as she held him in his crumpled state.
He told me to meet him at the coffee bar where he found me,
Richie told her through labored breath.
Beans and cream on 5th and West. It's open all night. We need to go,
Blue said, as the sound of heavy footsteps made their way closer to the rooftop access door.
It's a wonder the police weren't able to make it through the crowd sooner.
Kathy replaced her mask and gave her friend one more hug.
Don't worry.
she told him before she and Blue made their exit.
Everything's gonna be okay.
You shouldn't have shown him your face.
Why?
You don't think he'll tell?
Tell who? Mayhem already knows I'm in league with you. It's only a matter of deduction before he figures out I'm Nightingale.
Adam was silent.
And if he was doing all this to protect me in the first place, then maybe he'll keep that resolve.
What do you think about the coffee shop?
I'm not sure about that one,
Kathy confessed.
I'll check it out,
Blue said.
I'm coming too. I'm the one being threatened.
Which is why you should stay out of it. It could be a trap, and I'm the one he wants to know the identity of.
They arrived at the bike and scooter.
You know, you should really think about getting a real cycle.
The two vehicles seemed humorous next to each other. Blue stepped forward first to mount his, as Nightingale observed her scooter and thought about it.
I'm glad you're back.
Adam paused before putting his helmet on.
Me too,
he whispered without turning. Then he put his helmet on and mounted the bike and revved off.